This is On the Couch with Dr. K, a show focused on answering the questions of urban and hip-hop adults rising to reach personal stars in daily life. Now, here's your host, Dr. Karen Streeter.
Good afternoon. I am your hostess, Dr. K, and you're listening to On the Couch with Dr. K. And I have two fabulous gentlemen with me this afternoon. I have Mr. Larry Ayers, better known as Big Daddy Ayers. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Big Daddy Ayers, co-host of The Spices of Life, along with the Boss Lady and Dr. Fab, every Sunday at 7 p.m.
All right. Thank you so much. And we also have Tony Pacasso, who is an actor, an independent filmmaker. He currently lives in Atlanta, but he hails from Memphis. In fact, right there from Melrose in the Orange Mound area. And I'm from Orange Mound by way of my mother. I went to visit my grandparents right there on Marsh Neal. You know where?
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Okay. So, what do you want to tell the listeners about yourself?
Listeners, I'm Tony Pacasso, actor / artist. Working on a lot of films here in Memphis, working on films in Atlanta, independent, filmmaking, and just here looking for talent, new talent, which Memphis is the most talented city I ever been to in my entire life.
Yes, we have a lot of characters here.
Yes.
A lot of characters.
Yes.
But, I really want to thank you, though, for just showing the world that Memphis is not only a good place to film about, but it's a good place to film in, to bring some of that revenue here to us. So thank you for that. And again, you're listening to On the Couch with Dr. K, and I am your hostess, Dr. K. And people say, why do you say hostess? And it's because, right now in the world, everything has to be so gender neutral. And I'm not a neutral person, and I like to be specific. And so I am a hostess. I'm not a host. So... I want to thank you very much. So I want to start off this evening probably differently than I'll start other shows, because this is our maiden voyage, and I'm just so happy you gentlemen have decided to be here with me so that I won't feel too nervous and you're able to help me through this journey. But I really want to just thank everyone, because ever since I started on this journey, which has been right at about 4 weeks ago, everyone has really reached out to me and been very loving and very supportive. We reached 500 likes at about 3 a.m. this morning, and my dog was looking at me thinking I was crazy because I was yelling and shouting. I was very excited about the 300 looks on Facebook, and that's pretty good because I've never done Facebook before. But everyone has been just so very kind to me. But I really want to talk about why I'm even doing this. I've always thought about being in radio, even as a little girl when I was watching Barbara Walters and Oprah Winfrey, listening to Dr. Ruth and even Dr. Phil. And I always thought, they're great, but they're not really addressing the issues that I have, the issues that my cousins have. Nobody's talking about issues that would really affect the urban population, the urban adults. So this is our show. Yeah. This is a time for us, for us to talk about what we need. And so I've always thought about it, but I never pulled the trigger on it. And recently, my mother became very, very ill. And if you have a mother who's still alive, you'll know how very special your mother is to you, and how even in moments of absolute just horror and terror, they can really pull on strength. And when my mother received her diagnosis here recently, after she listened and she pulled together her strength, and she said to my sister and I, you have been really good girls. You have always done what I've asked you to do, and you both have worked really hard, but now I want you to pursue your dreams. And for her to be able to say that when she is facing the fight of her life, it really touched me, and it moved me to know how precious life is.
Exactly.
and to know that you must follow your dreams today. You can't wait for every other day. You have to do it now. So although I'm extremely busy now because it feels like I'm doing 3 different things, I am pursuing that dream while she's here and she's able to hear. So, Mom, if you're listening, and you should be listening at this point, thank you so much for this opportunity. I love you, and we know you're going to get through this with flying colors.
Exactly.
So, all right. So let's get started here, talking about making peace with your ex. And Brother Love, who is my colleague in the radio station, he has been just extra helpful in allowing me to sit on his show. This morning, he was talking about being in the juvenile court system. And we all know that is where you will end up if you are unable to make peace with your ex. You will need some intervention from some other people who will show you then how to make peace. So we hope that this afternoon we will be able to give people some pointers on being able to do that for themselves. Now, I always recommend that, people try therapy or something like that, but I also know that a lot of us will not do that. We don't want to try any formal types of therapy, and I realize that I lean toward that because I am a licensed school psychologist. So I believe everyone should treat themselves to therapy or counseling or something. But hopefully in our talks this evening and in shows that come after this show, people will always be able to take a few pointers that they are able to actually put into their lives and take it and live a better life. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. And I want to hear just your initial thoughts about what you think about making peace with your ex. Big Daddy, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I would like to let you know what ex actually means.
Okay.
The ex is a prefix meaning out of, without, outside of, exit, excluded. And ex is used to show that someone is no longer in the situation or the condition
right.
the person that the person had been in.
Right, exactly.
So it's no longer.
Yeah.
It's not there. X marks the spot, and you need to get to it.
Right.
Exactly.
And for me, the best way to get along with your ex, to me, is go your separate ways. If you're an ex-football player for Chicago Bears,
right,
that means you don't have to show up for practice anymore.
Exactly.
You're an ex-football player, so you ain't got to worry about going to practice, team meetings. You ain't got to worry about that.
You don't have to call and see if the uniforms are clean.
Yeah. So if ladies, if you're an ex, and men, you're an ex. Ladies, you ain't got to worry about cooking for him anymore.
Right, exactly.
You ain't got to worry about making sure her car fixed anymore. Somebody else got to take care of that. That's no longer your problem because you are ex.
Exactly. Thank you, Tony. We're going to hear what you have to say right after this break. Everybody, you're listening to On the Couch with Dr. K, and I am your hostess, Dr. K.
God knows I never meant to hurt you.
Now you can listen and watch too. Go to our website to listen online and see our studio cam, kwam990.com.
The following commercial is sponsored by feedthepig.org, an organization devoted to helping you save money. We will not entice you with messages like
lowest prices in town, dealer approved, certified pre-owned,
no obligation consultation,
nor will we brag about our
huge selection, enormous variety,
one-stop shopping,
everything under one roof.
or promise.
Prices reduced up to 75%.
A sale like this can't go on forever. Factory liquidation.
Financing options available.
We will offer no contingencies like
See store for details.
Prices and participation may vary.
Legal exclusions apply.
No purchase necessary.
or try to convince you that our product will give you
Leaner, tighter abs in minutes.
Perfect smile. Porcelain veneers.
Freedom from those painful, embarrassing bunions.
Streeter's Total Beauty is a hair salon that invites you to enjoy a lifestyle full of beauty today. Dial 901-649-0559. Look to Randa Patton Streeter's lifestyle blog, which also invites you to enjoy a lifestyle full of high fashion and glamour. Like her on Facebook today. Photography is so much better than reality. Marcus Edward Mediascape is a great photographer. Instead of purchasing plastic surgery, let him do all of your photos today. Try Marcus Edward. He is the plastic surgeon of photographers. Contact Marcus today at www.memediascape.webs.com. For legal experience with a Christian touch, call the law offices of attorneys Juliet Akins and Victoria Gillard. We stop foreclosures and repossessions. Other areas of our practice include personal injury, civil and criminal matters, divorce, child support, child custody, and Social Security cases. Call today at 901-522-0009 or 901-624-8852 for free consultation.
AM 990 is now available on your Android mobile device. Go to the Google Play Store and search for KWAM.
And you're back with On the Couch with Dr. K. I am your hostess, Dr. K, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. So we left off with Mr. Pacasso. You're going to tell us your thoughts on making peace with your ex.
First, I want to congratulate you on your show today.
I appreciate
new
that.
Show, and I know it's going to be successful. So
you were one of the first people to reach out to me on Facebook.
Yeah, so I
appreciate that.
Had to put that out there.
Thank you.
What I think about the ex situation, first I gotta shoot to the fellas. If y'all don't want to go to jail, if you don't want to have all this child support and all this on you, just be peaceful. You know, learn how to deal with yourself and deal with the ex-mate. Y'all be peaceful. If you got children, be peaceful for the kids and just leave it alone. That's it. I mean, bygones be bygones. Ex, like he said, like Big Daddy said, exit.
Right.
It's over. Let it be, you know. You got to move on. You got to have another life. That's what it is.
Right. And I appreciate your saying that. And I think everyone can say, yes, I agree with you. But sometimes knowing, seeing, and doing are different things.
Yeah. Right.
You know what you need to do, but you just can't really do it. So let's look at some stats and facts. If you look at actually the types of marriages and how many marriages happen throughout the country, in the state of Tennessee, we actually tend to get married a little more than other people do. In fact, throughout the country, you have about 6.8 marriages per 1,000. Here in Tennessee, you have about 8.8 marriages per 1,000. And Stanley Shotwell, my wonderful intern, found this for me. So he's really great. Thank you, Stanley. All right. But our percentage rate of divorce, after we have all of these marriages, about 50% of them end up in divorce. Yeah. So although we get married more here in Tennessee, we actually divorce at about the same rate. And this information comes from the CDC, the National Vital Statistics System. So whenever you think about this, that is very upsetting. People get extremely upset when they start thinking about a person, a male and a female, actually either getting divorced or if they have a significant relationship, if they're about to go through a breakup. In fact, the biggest story this week is about my cousin, Paula Patton, and Robin Thicke. And everyone is up in arms just even at the thought of two beautiful people breaking up. So we know that whenever this occurs, you have a lot of stress involved.
Right.
And in fact, whenever you have stress involved, if you go to webmd.com, stress can be negative and it can lead to increased physical symptoms. In fact, 75 to 90% of people go to the doctor with symptoms that come from stress. So you have to, after you go through this very stressful time, you have to go through a process. You have to go through a process so you can get to the other end and actually get to making peace with your ex. So I have 4 very quick points that I think can get us to that place, and I call them the 4 Re's. You have to retreat, repeat, reflect, and release. Okay, so let's say that together. Retreat, repeat, reflect, and release.
Release.
Okay, yes. Re, and re.
Put some R in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
First of all, you have to retreat. You have to get away. As you said, you have to make an exit. You cannot stay there and be in your ex's face all of the time. You cannot do that. Secondly, you need to repeat. You have to tell your story. Even though it might be crazy and people are sick of listening to you, you have to tell your story ad nauseum until you're sick of telling it.
Yeah.
And maybe you need to tell it to your friends, maybe a therapist, your priest, your preacher, whomever. You need to repeat your story as often as you need to repeat it. And then you need to reflect on it. And this is the part I think that people, they don't get to this part. Maybe they'll retreat and they definitely want to repeat it, but they don't want to reflect on their part in it.
Right.
In every relationship, you have your story, his story, and then the real story.
Exactly.
Your part. And whenever you have 2 people, there is a dynamic component of it. You have an action and a reaction. So it does not matter how much you think it's her fault or his fault. Both of you have fault in it.
Right.
And you will not grow until you realize where your fault lies within the situation. And then lastly, after you've done all of that, you need to release. Release the guilt, release the shame, release the blame, release all of that. So then you're free. You're free to move forward. And that's really called forgiveness.
Right.
So you have to do all 4 of those: retreat, repeat, reflect, and release. So, do we have callers yet? Because if not, I have some things written. Oh, okay. I can go. All right. So, I actually have some people who actually sent in some questions. And this is our very first question, and it is coming from Jermaine Taylor. Excuse me. And this actually dovetails on what Brother Love was talking about this morning, because he talked about women using children as a pawn. He says, why do women use the kids as a pawn whenever there's a breakup? So, why do you think that is, Tony?
I always think it's a jealousy thing. I always think it's a jealousy thing, because when the ex sees, the guy, we want to call the baby daddy or whatever, with someone new, and it's a new situation, and it's positive, and it's going in a good direction, and they see it, it's a jealousy thing. It always kicks in from somewhere.
I understand.
That's what I feel about it.
Okay, good. Well, we have a caller. Let's go to the caller. We don't want to keep them on hold. Hi, you're on the couch with Dr. K.
How you doing, Dr. K and the fellows? How you doing, fellows? When the guy was speaking about the ex, I said, "Ooh, we got some smart guys."
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see. I'm 44, and I want the real deal when I get married.
Yes.
A lot of guys put unrealistic expectations, and that's what like the guy was saying, expectation. Specks of your eye 3 times.
Yes.
A lot of guys, like you was. I don't know if you related to Paula Patton when you said your cousin. Yeah, you put all this stuff out here, and because you heard this saying, you can't change a housewife to something perfect. That's what I said. If you know this guy was jealous when you met him the first time, if you know this young lady was just kind of like a fast type woman, you can expect that for the next 10 years, next 20 years,
10
next
times
30
that.
years.
Yes, 10 times that.
Yeah, that's right. So that's why I say, if you don't get the real thing from the start, don't expect to get the real thing at the end.
Wow. Thank you. That is an awesome comment. Yes.
There's too many women in the world to be worried about. I'm saying from a fellow point of view. There's too many beautiful women in the world to be stressing yourself about. 201 Poplar, worrying about things that you have no control over.
That's true. You have to release that and release that responsibility for another person's actions. Because you have a right to feel however you want to feel. Everyone has a right to their feelings. What you don't have a right to do is to act inappropriately because of how you feel. And that's what happens a lot of times when people, I'm not just going to say women, men and women use their children inappropriately in relationships that have split up. So we have another caller. I'm sorry, caller, were you finished?
Yeah, I'm not finna exit out like the guy said. It's best to exit out voluntarily before you get carried out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You want to find the door before you're shown the door. Okay. New caller. Hi, you're on the couch with Dr. K.
Hi, Dr. K.
Hi.
This is Sandra.
Hi, Sandra. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good.
First, congratulations on your new show, and thus far I am enjoying it so very, very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I have one comment as far as this ex is concerned.
Yes.
Me being a school teacher and families that go through divorce, they don't really realize how much it affects the children.
Very much.
And when we have, like, teacher conferences, they come in, and they're always blaming the other spouse.
Right.
And I have to really stop them because I've been in their shoes. I've been through this situation myself. And I have to tell them, remove yourself from it. It's all about the children.
Very much.
And when you center yourself and make sure that, okay, it's not about me anymore.
Right.
It's about the children. It seems like things get better.
Thank you. That is an excellent point.
Me a whole lot.
That is an excellent point because studies show that children actually lose about a year's worth of academic achievement whenever they experience something that is traumatic. And when your parents divorce, that's the number one trauma you can have next to the death of a parent. So you have to put your child first.
A lot of times we don't see it. They don't really show it. But deep down inside, it affects them. It affects their schoolwork. It affects their social skills. So we have to really align ourselves and take it off of us.
Thank you so much, Sandra. That is an excellent point. I really appreciate your bringing that to us. Now, was it hard for you, if you don't mind me asking you a question, was it hard to get to that point of realizing that the child needed to come first?
It was at first, but it took me actually to go to counseling. And a lot of times us black people will not go to counseling because we feel like it's something wrong with us.
Exactly. Right.
But that doesn't mean it's something wrong with us. That means I needed help and talk this through with somebody else.
That is
so after I did that, I was on my way, and I look back now, we're friends. So.
That is a great point. Thank you so much. And you're right. We all need to really consider counseling. And we're going to get to our next caller right after this break. You are on the couch with Dr. K on AM 990.
Guilty as charged. I'm not gonna lie, babe. I did you wrong so many times, yes. So I know why you crossed the line. Oh, but girl, I never dreamed you'd cheat on me, babe.
AM 990, streaming live at kwam990.com.
Photography is so much better than reality. Marcus Edward Mediascape is a great photographer. Instead of purchasing plastic surgery, let him do all of your photos today. Try Marcus Edward. He is the plastic surgeon of photographers. Contact Marcus today at www.memediascape.webs.com. For legal experience with a Christian touch, call the law offices of attorneys Juliet Akins and Victoria Gillard. We stop foreclosures and repossessions. Other areas of our practice include personal injury, civil and criminal matters, divorce, child support, child custody, and Social Security cases. Call today at 901-522-0009 or 901-624-8852 for a free consultation. Streeter's Total Beauty is a hair salon that invites you to enjoy a lifestyle full of beauty today. Dial 901-649-0559. Look to Randa Patton Streeter's lifestyle blog, which also invites you to enjoy a lifestyle full of high fashion and glamour. Like her on Facebook today. And we're back. You're listening to On the Couch with Dr. K on AM 990. I am your hostess, Dr. K, and I want to thank those last two callers for calling in. Thank you so much for your contributions, and please continue to listen to us and to contribute on a regular basis. We appreciate that, and we're going to go to our next call. Hi, you're on the couch with Dr. K.
How you doing, Dr. K?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. I was just listening to the show.
Yes.
And you were talking, the subject is how you make peace with your ex.
Yes.
And I was listening to the gentleman talk about what do ex mean and exit and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the purpose of making peace with your ex, you have to, if kids involved and things like that. But other than that, exit means you move forward. But when you have kids involved, you have to reflect, like you were stating, and you look back on why and the foundation that the relationship was built on, especially when you have kids and things. That person meant that much to you to build something with. You have to reflect back on that, the principle of what your relationship was built on. Then the thing comes respect.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you have that respect for one another, you stop dropping roles. You let all that, what went wrong, because it don't matter anymore, it went wrong, you let that go, and you go back to the principles that the relationship was built on, and you respect each other for that just alone. Because there's a bigger person, a lot of parties involved in the relationship. You got mamas, ex, sisters, brothers. You got a whole platform of people that's involved, that chain has been linked to.
Right.
So you have to make peace, because you have to take selfish out of it.
Right.
You can't be selfish.
Yes.
So when you take self out of the picture and look at the bigger, umbrella that your relationship has created. Because once family is always family, and that's the hardest thing for people to accept. Especially when you have kids involved.
Right.
It's selfish for you to build a family with someone and tell your kids, because me and this two-party can't get along, the family is no more. That it don't work like that.
Good.
So
Big Daddy,
that's just my views on it. You have to make peace because of family first.
Right. Well, when I was speaking on the ex, I'm referring to the ex on love, on far as what you had with that particular woman. Quite naturally, if you got kids involved, you got to do what you got to do to make things work for the family, and y'all can get along, and be courteous to each other.
Right.
Without some arguing going on, or you upset because she with somebody else, or she upset with you because you got somebody else. So
right.
That's what I was speaking on.
Very, very good. Caller, thank you so much for calling, and I hope you continue to listen to us. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, I'm fine.
Very good.
Okay. You have to turn your radio down so we can hear you.
To listen to us. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay, well, listen, thank you so much for calling in, and keep listening, okay? All right. Okay, so that actually brings me to one of the questions I got earlier this week on Facebook when you were talking about putting exit on the love. I actually have a question that came from, what is this guy's name? Oh, here we go. this question came from T.W. Rubin, and he says, how can you continue to be nice to your ex-mate without them actually thinking that you're going to get back together? Now, I have a little thing to say about that first, okay? Number one, keep your celery out of her peanut butter. If you keep your celery out of her peanut butter, she will not think you're getting back together. Right. That's when all the mess happens. Exactly. When you have some commingling of the vegetables and the peanut butter, that's when you have people knocking on your door, throwing bricks through your window, calling people and saying, this person is still mine, because you have not put an exit on not only the emotion of love, but the act of love as well. So I think that's number one. Number one. So did you have something to say to that, Tony? You look like you're, see, I think your celery is in the wrong peanut butter jar.
Nah,
that's how you're looking over there.
It just made me think of
like Skippy, peanut butter. Okay.
It was like, I'm just thinking like some of his partners I got, it's like they go through stuff and we talk about it. Right. And they wondering like, man, why the baby mama acting so crazy, man? And she know, I'm with someone. I'm like, come on, man. You know what you're doing.
You know why she's acting crazy.
Come on, man.
Look,
you know why.
And what about this? You come over there to bring something for your daughter or your son. She opened the door. She got on her heels and her thumb.
Okay, I will say some women have that to blame. That is true. Some people try to entice other people. But you have to, when you're confronted with that, you need to, in that very second, think, okay, how much is it going to cost for me to get my window replaced?
Right.
And maybe she won't look so enticing when you're thinking about however much it's going to cost for you to get your window replaced, to get all 4 new tires 2 days in a row, because I know some girls who've done that. Yeah. Okay, so
you got to be strong.
Keep your celery in the stalk.
Right.
Not in the peanut butter jar.
Yeah, you're not one of the two girls.
I don't do that. I don't do that.
That would be a good time to use an emergency exit.
Exactly. My mama calling me. Anybody, and just go. Let's take our next caller. Hi, you're on the couch with Dr. K.
Hi, Dr. K. This is Dr. Fab calling in. How are you?
Oh, Dr. Fab, how are you?
I am doing absolutely fabulous.
I have a question for you first that has nothing to do with any of this. Are those your lips that are on your Facebook? Because you have perfectly shaped lips, just so you'll know.
I do.
They are fabulous.
My lips.
They are fabulous. Okay. So thank you. All right. Now back to the session at hand.
Right. Well, I'm calling in, first of all, to say congratulations to
Thank you.
You are
so
absolutely doing a fabulous job.
Oh, I appreciate
and say hello to the gentleman.
Yes.
How you doing?
Hi, gentlemen. I just want to say that you hit the hammer on the head about celeries and, intermixing the celery into the peanut butter.
Yes, ma'am.
If people would refrain from that, it would cut down a lot of chaos.
Yes.
Between people once they have so-called moved on into other relationships from their exes, and I think that right there is a multitude of the problems that are going on today.
Right.
I personally, I was married. I married a man who had children, and I'm all for when you accept a relationship with a man or a woman, they have children, you accept those children as well.
Right. Yes.
But
exactly.
The problem is, like you said, people, whether it's the person that you're involved with or the person that they were involved with, they have a tendency to get the lines of communications mixed up. And for me personally, I have become so scared to date men who have children, because some men, they lie. They lie, and they tell you one thing, and then they tell the baby mama another, and you just have to really keep your eyes and ears open and just pay close attention for yourself when you are, for me, dating men that have children.
Yes. I totally agree with that. In fact, next week, we're going to have, actually, I borrowed from you all's show, the most hated man in America, Steve Williams from the Man Mindset. And we're going to talk about how not to get played.